Well, what a shot he's played there. How many players would have even thought of playing that? It looked like he was playing into the reds. He was playing to free the pink and black. This isn't.
The snooker world faces unprecedented uncertainty as Ronnie O'Sullivan, the sport's most decorated modern player, teeters on withdrawing from the 2025 World Championship. The 7-time Crucible champion has participated in every tournament since 1993, but now confronts career-altering challenges that threaten his streak.
Not give me either.
What a shot he played there. Wow. What a shot that was. Not only the pot, but have a look at the control of this. Oh, that is top drawer.
Neil Robertson, the 2010 world champion, delivered a stark assessment of the situation. O'Sullivan's absence would be an absolutely massive blow to the tournament, he told the press. What Ronnie brings to the World Championship is viewers. He brings eyes on snooker we normally wouldn't have. Robertson currently ranks 10th in the world standings. The crisis stems from two interlinked issues: equipment struggles and psychological barriers. O'Sullivan destroyed his primary cue during a championship league match against Robert Milkins on January 23rd. Video footage showed the 49-year-old snapping the implement following a 3-2 defeat to Chris Wakelin. O'Sullivan confessed this to Sunsport: "I literally don't have a cue. I still haven't found one that I'm comfortable with." His search for replacement equipment has proven exhaustive. "I've probably changed my cue 4 or 5 times, O'Sullivan revealed. Historical precedent suggests this process could take months. He noted previous instances where finding suitable equipment required sometimes a year. The broken cue, retrieved from trash by friend Robbie, is now considered unrepairable memorabilia. "It'll be getting sold off," O'Sullivan stated, acknowledging regret over the impulsive destruction. The equipment crisis coincides with profound mental challenges. O'Sullivan admitted, "I was getting to the point where I was scared to even go near a table, not even the match table, just a practice table, and that has been going on for a long time." This psychological barrier persisted even during his most successful recent season when he claimed 5 tournament victories. "Even that season when I won 5 tournaments, it was just hard," O'Sullivan said. "I couldn't keep going on struggling. At some point, you've got to try and enjoy the game. I can only enjoy it if I'm playing half decent." His current practice regimen stands at 15 hours weekly, with plans to intensify training after returning from Saudi Arabia. Robertson speculated about O'Sullivan's mindset regarding the uncertainty. He said, "I think part of him will enjoy that buzz. That is maybe what he needs, to fall back in love with the sport." He dismissed concerns about O'Sullivan's lack of competitive play, stating, "If he feels really good about his game, he has proven he doesn't need much match practice. He can slot straight in." The timeline for O'Sullivan's decision is precise. 3 practice sessions scheduled for April 14th to 16th will determine his participation. He confirmed, "I'll make a decision after those 3 good sparring sessions that I have arranged." The World Championship begins April 19th, leaving minimal margin for error. O'Sullivan's withdrawal would trigger immediate consequences. World number 17. Gary Wilson stands to inherit his seeded position. Tournament organizers face significant commercial implications. O'Sullivan's matches traditionally deliver peak viewership figures. Robertson said, "Any member of the public or fan would be devastated." The player's recent schedule reveals escalating challenges. Since January, O'Sullivan has withdrawn from 5 events, which includes Masters, World Grand Prix, German Masters, Welsh Open, Scottish Open. His aborted Welsh Open participation proved particularly telling. After driving 9 hours from Essex to Llandudno and checking into a hotel, O'Sullivan returned home without playing a frame. Official records cited medical grounds for these withdrawals. O'Sullivan categorically denied personal life distractions. "Everything's fine," he stated. "The private life is good. It's just with the snooker." He described his condition as snooker depression and stage fright, explaining, "It starts to affect you mentally. Listen, that's why I snapped my cue. I just couldn't take it anymore." The champion's self-assessment remains brutally honest. "I literally have had enough of playing what I call unacceptable snooker," he admitted. When pressed about retirement possibilities, he responded, "I'm not going to quit. I definitely won't quit." Robertson painted a vivid picture of the potential Crucible atmosphere should O'Sullivan compete. He predicted, "If he turns up, it is going to be Ronnie Mania, that is for sure." This sentiment reflects O'Sullivan's unique position as snooker's primary box office attraction. Technical adjustments compound O'Sullivan's challenges. His broken cue had specific weight and balance characteristics developed over years of use. Replacement attempts have failed to replicate these properties. He said, "On 2 or 3 occasions, I found one straight away. On the other 2 occasions, it has taken me sometimes a year to find one." The psychological toll manifests in precise terms. O'Sullivan resumed practice only in mid-March after taking multiple holidays. His description of scared reflects performance anxiety rare for elite athletes at his career stage. "I never thought I'd be in this situation where I didn't feel like I'd have the confidence to go and play," he confessed. Financial considerations add complexity. The broken cue's potential auction value remains undisclosed, but memorabilia from O'Sullivan's career commands premium prices. His participation directly impacts tournament revenue streams, from ticket sales to broadcasting contracts. Robertson's commentary underscores the broader implications. He said, "Ronnie brings viewers we normally wouldn't have." This reflects O'Sullivan's ability to attract casual sports fans beyond snooker's traditional audience. O'Sullivan's practice session outcomes will determine competitive readiness. He has pledged, saying, "I'll be working as hard as I can to try and figure out the problem." The April 14th to 16th sessions represent his final opportunity to assess form before the Crucible deadline. Historical context magnifies the situation's gravity. O'Sullivan's 7 world titles place him second only to Stephen Hendry in the modern era. His potential absence would mark the first time since 1992 that snooker's premier event proceeded without either legend. The seating structure for the 2025 World Snooker Championship has been finalized following the conclusion of key matches at the Tour Championship in Manchester. The top 16 players on the official 2-year ranking list have secured automatic qualification for the main event at Sheffield's Crucible Theatre, scheduled to run from April 19th to May 5th. Kyron Wilson enters as the defending champion and top seed, having claimed his maiden world title in 2024. World number 1. Judd Trump occupies the second seeding position. 4-time champion Mark Selby is provisionally seeded third, followed by the controversial figure of Ronnie O'Sullivan at number 4. The confirmation of the seedings came after Xiao Guodong's 10-8 victory over Wu Yizi in the Tour Championship first round. This result eliminated Wu's mathematical chance of breaking into the top 16, ensuring Jack Jones retained the crucial 16th seeding position. Jones, who reached last year's final, benefits from the £200,000 prize money earned during that run to maintain his automatic qualification spot. While the exact order of seeds 5 through 15 remains subject to final Tour Championship results, the confirmed automatic qualifiers are Kyron Wilson, Judd Trump, Mark Selby, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Williams, John Higgins, Luca Brissell, Mark Allen, Neil Robertson, Ding Junhui, Barry Hawkins, Zhang Anda, Si Jiahui, Xiao Guodong, Sean Murphy, Jack Jones. This marks a historic moment for Chinese snooker, with 4 players, Ding, Zhang, Si, and Xiao, seeded at the World Championship for the first time. The qualifying competition will take place at the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield from April 7th to 16th. A total of 128 players will compete for the remaining 16 spots in the main draw. Tickets for the qualifiers are available at £12 per day. The tournament qualifying consists of 4 distinct rounds. In round 1, players ranked 81 through 112 compete against players ranked 113 through 144. The winners from round 1-1 then advance to round 2, where they face players ranked 49 through 80. Moving to round 3, these winners compete against players ranked 17 through 48. Finally, in round 4, often called Judgment Day, the final qualifiers for the main tournament are determined. This progressive structure allows lower-ranked players to earn their way into the competition by defeating increasingly higher-ranked opponents at each stage. The snooker world remains focused on whether O'Sullivan will actually compete at the Crucible. The seven-time champion hasn't played a competitive match since January's Championship League, where he famously smashed his cue after a 3-0 defeat to Robert Milkins before forfeiting his final group match. Since that incident, O'Sullivan has withdrawn from the Welsh Open, the Players' Championship, the Tour Championship. Mark Williams, O'Sullivan's contemporary from the fabled Class of '92, expressed doubts about his participation. Williams told this to Metro, "Look, I don't know what the situation is, but if I were to have a guess now, I'd probably say he's not going to play. He's pulled out of the last tournaments, so obviously he's not ready or doesn't want to play." Williams dismissed suggestions that the £500,000 winner's prize or the chance to break Stephen Hendry's record of 7 world titles would influence O'Sullivan's decision. He said, "I don't really think he's worried about that stuff. I know the media put it on him that he wants to be past Hendry on 8 world titles, but I honestly don't think he's worried about stuff like that." World Snooker Tour regulations specify 2 distinct scenarios should a top 16 seed withdraw. Withdrawal before April 7th, world number 17. Gary Wilson would be promoted to the main draw. Wilson's scheduled qualifying opponent would receive a bye to Judgment Day. Withdrawal after April 7th, O'Sullivan's first-round opponent would receive a walkover to the second round. Gary Wilson currently sits 5,900 pounds behind Jack Jones in the prize money rankings that determine seeding. The 39-year-old has endured a difficult season, describing his form as dreadful in interviews. Wilson has experimented with pool during his snooker struggles, though he acknowledges the challenges of switching codes. "It's 2 different sports. It's like a table tennis player playing tennis," Wilson told The Sun. "You can't really play the 2 of them at the same time. Not if you want to compete at the top level of either." The qualifying tournament begins on April 7th, with matches streamed on the World Snooker Tour's digital platforms. The main championship draw will be conducted on April 18th, 1 day before the Crucible action commences. All seeded players are placed in predetermined positions based on their ranking, with the qualifiers drawn randomly to complete the 32-player field. Prize money for the 2025 World Championship remains unchanged from 2024. Winner will get £500,000. Runner-up will get £200,000. Semi-finalist will get £100,000. Quarter-finalists will get £50,000. Last 16 will receive £30,000. Last 32 will receive £20,000. Broadcast coverage in the UK will be shared between the BBC and Eurosport, with over 100 hours of live television coverage planned across the 17-day event. Ronnie O'Sullivan has made a definitive statement about his future in snooker, declaring he won't quit despite an ongoing battle with form and confidence ahead of the 2024 World Snooker Championship. The 49-year-old, a 7-time world champion, faces one of the most challenging phases of his career as he prepares for a potential 33rd consecutive appearance at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. O'Sullivan's difficulties began earlier this year during the Championship League in January, where he lost 4 of his 5 matches. His frustration reached a breaking point when he snapped his cue in anger, an act he now describes as regrettable. "It's unrepairable," he admitted. "I do regret it, really, because it was my cue. It's hard to find another one." Since then, he has withdrawn from multiple tournaments, including the Masters, the German Masters, the Welsh Open, and the World Grand Prix in Hong Kong. His absence has raised concerns among fans, particularly given his status as one of the sport's greatest players. In an interview with The Sun, O'Sullivan revealed the psychological toll his slump has taken. He described his condition as snooker depression, a term he uses to encapsulate the anxiety and lack of confidence that has plagued him. He said, "It got to the point where I was struggling with the game. I always call it snooker depression. Call it stage fright. It starts to affect you mentally. Listen, that's why I snapped my cue. I just couldn't take it anymore." His struggles extend beyond competitive play. He admitted to fearing even practice sessions, a startling admission for a player of his caliber. "I was getting to the point where I was scared to even go near a table, not even the match table, just a practice table, and that has been going on for a long time." Despite these challenges, O'Sullivan remains determined to continue playing. He insisted, "I'm not going to quit. I definitely won't quit." However, his participation in the World Championship is far from guaranteed. He has scheduled 3 crucial practice sessions on April 14th, 15th, and 16th to assess his readiness before making a final decision. He said, "I'll make a decision when I feel like I'm ready to make a decision. That will be it. I know I have nothing to prove, but I need to find the love for the game, to find that passion." His approach contrasts with earlier phases of his career, where he often played through rough patches. Now, he prioritizes enjoyment over results. "I'm not bothered about winning and losing. I never have been. I've always been more, where's my game at? If my game is all right, then cool. If it's terrible, I can leave it for 1, 2, 3, 4 months. But I can't live for 3-4 years of struggling." If O'Sullivan chooses to skip the tournament, it will mark the first time since his debut in 1992 that he misses the event. His absence would also impact the tournament structure with world number 17 Gary Wilson moving into a seated position and receiving a bye if O'Sullivan withdraws after the qualification cutoff on April 16th. The Crucible has been a defining venue for O'Sullivan, where he has claimed 7 titles, the most recent in 2022. His potential withdrawal would leave a significant void in the competition, both for fans and the sport's broader narrative. O'Sullivan's recent struggles are not isolated to this season. He revealed that the past 4 years have been particularly difficult, with only brief glimpses of his best form. He confessed, "It's been a real struggle. I've tried to play my way through. I've had moments and glimpses where I thought, okay, this is okay. But on the whole, probably 3.5 years out of the last 4 have been pretty terrible for me, and that's kind of taken its toll." The mental fatigue has eroded his enthusiasm for the game. "I kind of got a bit tired. It ground me down to the point where I lost the love for the game. That's why in January, I snapped my cue, just in temper, in frustration. I don't really want to feel like that, so I've taken time out." Another complicating factor is O'Sullivan's ongoing search for a suitable replacement for the cue he destroyed. He has yet to find one that meets his standards. "What happened was just coming. I have done it before. And it's not the game. It's me, really," he said. "I have just been struggling for so long now, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I'm still struggling now, to be honest." O'Sullivan's openness about his challenges has resonated with fans, many of whom have expressed support for his decision to prioritize his well-being. After withdrawing from the Welsh Open, he apologized to disappointed supporters but reiterated that his health must come first. Now, with the World Championship looming, the snooker world waits to see whether the Rocket will return to the biggest stage in the sport, or step away, at least for this year. His final verdict will come after his practice sessions, with an announcement expected by April 17th or 18th. For now, O'Sullivan remains focused on resolving his issues. As he himself said, "I'm just going to try and fix what I think is the problem before I come back to play serious snooker again." Whether that happens in time for Sheffield remains the sport's most pressing question. The snooker world watches with anticipation as Zhao Xintong, the Chinese prodigy once heralded by Ronnie O'Sullivan as a future legend, prepares for his competitive return. The 27-year-old has served a 20-month suspension for his involvement in snooker's 2023 match-fixing scandal that implicated 10 Chinese players. His comeback could begin as early as April's World Championship qualifiers.
One.
Zhao's fall from grace came at the worst possible moment. In December 2021, he captured the UK Championship title, defeating Luca Brissell 10-5 in the final. This victory propelled him to a career-high world number, 9th ranking in April 2022. 3 months later, he added the German Masters crown to his achievements, whitewashing Yan Bingtao 9-0 in a stunning display of dominance. Ronnie O'Sullivan's admiration for Zhao became evident after that German Masters triumph. O'Sullivan told this to reporters, "The last time I was this excited about a player was when I saw Stephen Hendry play when I was only about 9 years old. I remember watching Stephen play in some festival in Hastings and you knew he was special. And for me, Zhao is the only one since that made me think he could be something special."
Ronnie's done a little bit with him. When he's on it, shall we say, he probably besides him, the best ball striker I've seen. You know, they're so natural, you know, and...
He's banned right now, unfortunately, but
yeah,
he'll be back.
I think he's back. I think he's got to go to Q-School. Is it this year or next year? I think it's this year, isn't it? I'm not sure, but...
O'Sullivan's praise didn't stop there. He added, "He is super good now, but could be an unplayable great if he were to brush up on certain things. And that is up to him. Does he want to be open to that and do the work? Because Zhao can be as good as he wants to be, he has got the game in his hands. As he develops, he will handle the pressure situations even better than now." The match-fixing scandal that derailed Zhao's career involved multiple Chinese players. While Zhao didn't personally fix any matches, he admitted to betting on a game he knew had been manipulated. This distinction proved crucial. While Yan Bingtao received a 7.5-year ban for direct involvement in match-fixing, Zhao's punishment was reduced to 20 months. During his suspension, Zhao maintained his dedication to the sport. "These 2 years have been very long for me. I've practiced every day," he told the BBC in November. "2 years ago, I made a little mistake. Now I've come back. I know how important snooker is to me, and now I just want to come back to the snooker table." Stephen Hendry has already identified Zhao as a potential threat in the upcoming World Championship. Speaking on the Snooker Club podcast, the 7-time world champion said, "Apparently he's in the top 5 with the betting for the whole thing. If he gets through, then it'll be really interesting to see how he does." Hendry emphasized the challenge Zhao presents. "There's a whole load you could say that you don't want in the first round of the World Championship. It's different from the late 80s and early 90s where you could forget the first 2 rounds because you'd breeze through it. But there will be 1 or 2 who will be good draws. Everyone else will be tough." The Scottish legend also echoed O'Sullivan's assessment of Zhao's potential. "There are only a handful of players in the game who really stand out when you watch them play, and you think they've got that little stardust, that star quality. There's lots of great players who make lots of centuries, but they don't look like that. They don't have that little bit extra. Zhao Xintong, when he plays like that, has got that. He's got the X factor." Zhao's technical abilities have never been in question. His fluid cue action and natural break-building prowess drew comparisons to snooker's all-time greats during his rise. His 2021 UK Championship victory saw him become only the 4th non-British player to win the event after Ding Junhui, Neil Robertson, and Luca Bracel. The Chinese star's suspension period saw significant changes in the snooker landscape. The emergence of players like Luca Bracel as world champion and the continued dominance of O'Sullivan have reshaped the hierarchy Zhao must now re-enter. His ranking has plummeted during his absence, meaning he'll need to qualify for major tournaments through qualifying rounds. Zhao remains confident in his ability to compete at the highest level. He stated, "I knew I would come back, so I need to keep confident in myself. I believe that if I play well, then I can beat anybody. I'm just going to try my best." The World Snooker Tour has implemented stricter anti-corruption measures since the 2023 scandal. All players now undergo enhanced education programs about betting regulations and match-fixing risks. Zhao's return will be closely monitored as both a test case for rehabilitated players and a potential boost to the sport's popularity in China. His comeback coincides with increased interest in Asian snooker. The 2023 to 2024 season has seen Chinese players achieve notable successes, with Zhang Anda winning the international championship and Ding Junhui returning to form. Zhao's presence could further strengthen this momentum. The practical challenges of Zhao's return shouldn't be underestimated. 20 months away from competitive play represents a significant gap in modern snooker. While he's maintained practice routines, match sharpness can only be regained through tournament play. The pressure of his first matches back will be intense, with media scrutiny inevitable. Bookmakers have already installed Zhao among the favorites for the World Championship, reflecting both his past achievements and the respect he commands from peers. This faith stems from his pre-ban performances, where he demonstrated an ability to compete with and defeat the world's best players.
Well, I mean, I wasn't happy when he equaled my 7. I mean,
Right.
you know, I mean, people asked me before, and I said, no, I don't want. Of course, I don't want him to equal my record. It was my record. When I was talking to Ronnie on the thing, and I said, surely you must now. It's all about winning 8, right? Because when I won 6 to equal Steve, the next day I said I have to win 7. Ronnie being Ronnie, he deflected it a little bit and didn't want to admit, but I know he does. I know he wants to win 8. And then he will be the GOAT, obviously.
The snooker world faces an unprecedented question as the 2025 World Championship approaches. Will Ronnie O'Sullivan compete? The 7-time world champion hasn't been seen in tournament play since his dramatic exit from January's Championship League, where frustration led him to smash his cue. This incident marked the beginning of an extended absence that has seen him miss every major event since, including the Masters, where he was defending champion. Stephen Hendry, another 7-time Crucible king, remains convinced O'Sullivan will appear. "I've got a sneaky suspicion he is going to play." Hendry said this on the Snooker Club podcast. He went further, suggesting O'Sullivan could achieve the unthinkable. "Ronnie just decides he's going to turn up at the Worlds and wins it. It would be an unbelievable story, and he's that good." Hendry's confidence stems from history. In 2013, O'Sullivan took a year-long sabbatical before returning to claim the world title. Hendry recalled their exchange at the time. "He messaged me and said, 'Do you think I can still come back and do it?' I said, 'Of course you can. All you need is a month's solid practice.'" The Scot believes the same formula could work now, though acknowledges greater challenges. He was a much younger man, and there weren't the players around that are in such form. The current snooker landscape features multiple in-form contenders. Judd Trump has dominated the season, while Kieran Wilson defends his world title. Neil Robertson and John Higgins have rediscovered their best games, and Mark Selby remains a perennial threat. Hendry initially tipped Selby before considering O'Sullivan's potential. There's 6 or 7 easily you could count, and maybe more that are capable of winning it.
Who could stop the Rocket winning the 8th? 2 players that have beaten him this season, both in his half of the draw. Jang Anda, who lost. Mark Williams beat him in the Tour Championship final, lost. He's got Judd Trump in the semi-final, possibly, if both make it through. Judd hasn't beaten him, I think, since 2020. Ronnie, after his press conference, was very, very sort of confident. He's going to keep playing, see what he can win. So yeah, big message thrown out to the likes of Trump, Mark Allen, Mark Selby, who also lost, by the way, shadow of his former self. Whether that was a veiled message, as with a few of them possible breakaways happening. We'll have to keep our eyes open for that. Listen, the big question, as always, who could stop the Rocket winning the 8th?
Bookmakers share Hendry's cautious optimism. Betfair lists O'Sullivan as 7-1 joint favorite alongside Trump and Wilson. Remarkable odds for a player who hasn't competed in months. The betting reflects both O'Sullivan's unparalleled talent and his proven ability to triumph after breaks. Equipment concerns linger. O'Sullivan destroyed his previous cue during January's meltdown, leaving questions about his current setup. Hendry said, "I don't know what his cue situation is because he smashed his last one.